Kia ora, you're watching Juice TV NZOWN, and today we are joined by Ronald and Mike from November Zulu. Welcome to the show, guys.
Howdy.
Aroha, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. Now, November Zulu, since I played the video a wee while back, a few times, I've been wondering, what does the name actually mean? Where did it come from? Why did you decide to call yourselves November Zulu? Is there any special meaning behind that?
I think we had just between the 5 members of the band, we had a good collective cultures that represent New Zealand, and we went with the idea of November Zulu, which was NZ in the phonetic alphabet. So if you go through that, that's I mean, it's obvious when you point it out, but yeah, it's November Zulu, which just means NZ. Yeah.
And when you say that you've got sort of a diverse ethnicity in the band, like how many people are actually, you said there are 5 of you in the band, but like who does what, and where do you all come from?
We got a white boy up front joining me, and would be the token whites. Then we got some Asian twins, Burmese twins, Ronald and Donald, and a Tongan drummer, so pretty good mix.
And you guys have all known each other for quite some time, haven't you? You've been friends for a while?
Yeah, we went through high school together, playing in different groups and stuff like that. So we've played music for a very long time, the 4 of us anyway, and then Geordie joined on, and funny enough, he actually went to St. Peter's as well, so yeah, so it works out quite well. We've got a good connection and a cohesion with the group, so yeah.
And when you say you have, you've played in a number of different bands in the past, like, is that stylistically varied much, from what you're doing now with November Zulu?
Not really. We haven't so much played in different bands. We've always jammed together, but we actually played it. Grew up playing in like orchestras and jazz bands and so on. So as far as a rock band goes, I've just always loved our slightly hard rock. So nothing's really changed there.
With that background, with the orchestras and the jazz bands kind of behind you, that must have quite a different influence on the way you sound now.
I think it's given us just the freedom to go with the flow. I think that's what jazz does. I think a lot of jazz musicians probably can agree. It just has that. There's limitations, but then and within that you can do whatever you want. I think that that element of music's brought a different edge to our music as well, our November Zulu music, which works quite well. Yeah.
It's interesting too, like recently on NZOWN I've been interviewing quite a few bands who are either brother and sisters or a couple of brothers in the band, and family seems to be something that works really well in music, but in your case you've actually got a twin brother, that would be Donald, not because you're Ronald and he was Donald. Is there any kind of twin sixth sense that kind of contributes to you guys jamming even better?
I think probably the idea of seeing, we've done sort of gimmicks where we've actually had a call and response solos where he'd do something and I'd respond, and it does work well. It confuses a lot of people on stage. There's always 2 of us there, and who did that? Oh, which one did that? But I think in the sense of we fight a lot in practices, but we as brothers do and siblings do, we find a way of mending the problems. But in the sense, what your question is about, the special sense, probably not so much. We do work well together, and we have the same groove. But other than that, no, not really. Yeah.
Now, you guys have last year sort of come into the public consciousness a lot more since you won the Battle of the Bands, the Auckland Battle of the Bands. Like, do you feel like that has changed things for you much?
Well, we entered the Battle of the Bands. They were our first gigs, so we actually just entered it because we didn't know how to organise a gig ourselves. So winning that, we were stoked, but we sort of moved on from there. Competition, we don't really feel is the nature of music, so we wouldn't go into competition again. But in saying that, it was a good start, and left us in good stead to sort of kick off with our first single, which you've been showing heaps. Thanks.
Yep. And that is, of course, called Deceit. Very cool single it is too. But you've got another single in the pipeline soon, haven't you?
Yeah, we've actually just collaborated with Kid Deft from Fast Crew, and we've been good mates with him for quite a while. Some of us have, and he came up with an idea of doing collaboration, and there it is. So we worked pretty through probably for like 2 months. We worked on it and ideas, and then came through with a good song. So we're just in the early stages at the moment, so hopefully that's going to be a good rocking song.
When can we expect that single to drop, and what's it called?
It's called Second to None, and I'm probably biased, but it's a bloody good song, and it will drop in February, we hope. Yeah.
And if the NZOWN viewers out there like what they see with the video Deceit and like the look of you guys, how can they check out a little bit more information about you?
We've got our website, which is novemberzulu.co.nz, and also you can check us out on MySpace as well, which is myspace.com/November Zulu.
Excellent. Very concise and succinct. I like your style. Now, before we go, do you guys have any gigs coming up in the near future that people can check you out doing?
Yeah, we're probably recording for the next month, that single. But then in January we'll start up again. We're playing at the Festival of Lights down in New Plymouth, Taranaki, and probably the next night playing in Wellington before coming back and starting up in Auckland again. Can't wait for that.
I bet you can. Make sure you check out the website, and then you can find out a lot more information about these guys and when they are playing close to you. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today, guys.
Cheers, Aroha. It's been brilliant.
I suppose we'll cut now to your video. Would you like to introduce it?
This is our November Zulu with our debut single and video, Deceit.